Let's continue. Come over here to your toolbox to your rounded rectangle tool. Hold, release mouse, pick up your rectangle tool. Come back to your workspace over here, click, drag out a rectangle about this much. Release mouse, go up to Effect. All the way down to Warp, select the command Flag. We can see what is happening because we have checked Preview. Let's go ahead and make it vertical, and let's increase the bend all the way up to 100%. Click OK. Go up to Object and select the command Expand Appearance. Pick up your selection tool, come back over here to this object, click, hold down Shift and Alt key, and move away with your copy about this far from the original. Release mouse, then keyboard, and deselect. With your selection tool, click, drag to select these objects, come up to this edge, click, hold down Shift and Alt key, and downsize them about this much. Release mouse, then keyboard. Pick up these objects and bring them up here. Make sure you line them up with the center of the yellow rounded rectangle beneath. Release mouse. Deselect. Now with your selection tool, click, drag to select these objects down here. Release mouse. All the way up to Window, all the way down to Pathfinder, select the command Unite. Close your Pathfinder and deselect. With your selection tool, click, drag to select all these objects, and then right-click and select the command Group and deselect. In order for you to be able to place the graphics of your infographic correctly, and to give them a size that is suitable for the total size of the infographic, you need to be in a zoomed out view where you can see all the objects on screen at the same time, so you can make the right decisions regarding placement and size of objects. This view right here is an example of a suitable view for that process. I have my selection tool selected. I'm going to come over here, click, drag to select these objects, and then I'm going to pick them up and bring them over here. Release mouse. As you can see, this is too large. With the selection tool, come over to this edge. Click, hold down Shift key, and downsize them about that much. Release mouse, then Shift key, and deselect. With the selection tool, let's come over here, click, and bring these objects that we have previously grouped together, place them about over here. Deselect. Come over here with the selection tool, click, drag to select these objects, bring them about over here. Release mouse and deselect. Now what we need to do is we need to make sure that the graphics of each section are aligned together so we can keep our infographic looking neat and organized. In order for us to do that, we need to group together the graphics of each section. This section over here, if we select it, we can see that the objects of it are already grouped together as we have previously did. With the selection tool, deselect. Come over here, click, drag to select these objects, right-click and select the command Group. Deselect. Come over here, click, drag to select these objects, right-click, select the command group, and deselect. Now with the selection tool, let's come over here. Click, drag to select all these objects, release your mouse. Come up here to this word Align, and click to open up the Align panel. We are interested in the Align Object section over here, and you can see this command, Vertical Align Bottom. Pay attention to what will happen to the objects when I select this command. Keep your eye on the object. Click, and you can see that the bottom of each section are all lined up together perfectly in a neat, organized way. Click once over here and click again to deselect. Now, we need to go ahead and ungroup the grouping we did for coloring purposes for later, because we need to color some objects separately. With the selection tool, come over here. Click to select the group, right-click and select the command ungroup, deselect. Come over here. Click to select the group, right-click, select the command ungroup, and deselect. Let's go ahead and type in the information for this infographic. Come over here to your toolbox, pick up your type tool. Come back to workspace, click, drag out a text box about this big. Release mouse. Let's go over here and select a font family. I'm going to select a font family that has several font styles, so I can emphasize on certain parts of my information by giving these parts a different font style than the rest of the information. The font family I'm going to select is Oswald, and for now I'm going to stick with the font style Light. So I'm going to select Oswald Light, and I'm going to increase my font size to 80 points and press enter on my keyboard. Now I'm going to type in my first piece of information. 75% of people prefer to eat pizza for lunch at work, period. Press enter on the keyboard to go to a new line and type in a new piece of information. Coffee is extremely popular at most workplaces, period. Press enter to go to a new line and type in a new piece of information. 3 out of 5 people shower daily before going to work, period. The font style we used to type this text was light. Let's go ahead and focus on the important parts of our information by giving them a different font style. I have my type tool selected. I'm going to come over here to the 75%. Click, drag to highlight, release mouse, come up here and give it a regular font style. Also for pizza, click, drag to highlight, give it a regular font style. Coffee, click, drag to highlight, regular font style. Popular, click, drag to highlight, and a regular font style. 3 out of 5, click, drag to highlight, and a regular font style. Shower, click, drag to highlight, and a regular font style. Come over here to your toolbox, click on your selection tool to select this text, come over here to this edge, click and drag to this side to make sure that no words are being placed on two separate lines. Release mouse. Now, with your selection tool, right-click, select the command Create Outlines, and again right-click and select the command Ungroup. Deselect. Let's go ahead and group each piece of information together. With the selection tool, click, drag to select the text for the first piece of information. Make sure you're not selecting any text that does not belong with it. Release mouse, go up to Object and select the command Group. Deselect. Click, drag to select the text for the second piece of information. Again, make sure you're not selecting any other text. Release, go to Object and select Group. Deselect. Finally, click, drag to select the third piece of information's text, and make sure you're not selecting any other text with it. Release mouse, go to Object, and select Group. Deselect.